Well, hi, I'm Noah Bradley with Handmade House TV, and on today's episode we're going to try something different, something new. We're going to break new grounds, and that is I'm going to answer one of your questions that was sent in to me. So stay tuned. Well, on any given day, I typically get at least a few emails asking me questions or opinions on some aspect of building a handmade house. There have been days where I've gotten over 100, and I do enjoy answering each and every email as best as I can, as quickly as I can. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 weeks to finally get around to getting caught up on my email box. And also at handmadehouses.com, people will ask me questions there and leave them for me. And recently I got one, and I thought rather than typing out the answer there where only the young lady that wrote it would see the answer, that I would share the answer with everyone, and perhaps some of you out there will find it the answer of value, and I'll do my best to answer it. And here it is. I am wondering if you might touch on the strength aspect of building a small cabin in a future video or a post. I am a 5'2" tall woman interested in building my own small dwelling. Realistically, is this something that you think is possible? What building methods, if any, require the least amount of raw strength and are most suitable for attempting solo? Or am I being unrealistic, and should I instead plan to enlist help for the future build? There are a few questions there, and clearly this is all the information I have on this wonderful young woman. And so I'm going to answer it as best as I can, directed toward her, but also in a broader terms that might appeal to everyone. First of all, there's the question of physical strength, being a 5'2" woman and interested in building something. Well, that's tremendous. Clearly, how tall you are doesn't make any difference with regard to construction. Woman doesn't make any difference with regard to it as well. I have worked alongside some women that could outwork me, could put in a longer day. And in fact, one of them was my greatest teacher in learning the art of chinking log cabins, that she had not only a gifting at being able to chink well, but also in order to pass on what she knew to other people. So Maggie, if you're listening to this, thank you so much for that. But I can say that when it comes to physical strength, as far as constructing a home, there's no aspect of it that cannot be done regardless of your strength level. I could have an excuse myself, being an old man with a very bad back, worn out from years of being in the construction industry. And maybe I can share with you right now a video clip of recently when creating the Stonemason Academy, where I teach people how to lay stone. You can see the process I go in getting 100-pound stone from the ground up onto my work table in order to properly shape it for the fireplace that I was building. Frequently, when we're physically challenged, when we can't meet something, it's a matter of using your head rather than your back. It takes longer, it takes more thought in order to roll, in order to flip, in order to coerce a stone or a log into the place that it is needed. And frequently there are a lot of aids that can help us in lifting things and moving things around, whether or not you have a tractor with a forklift on it, or frequently it's a good idea to bring in people to help you for one particular phase of it. Now, it says here that you want to build a small cabin. It doesn't say a small log cabin, so I'm assuming that what you're talking about is building a small log cabin. And when I build a log cabin, if I bring in a crew of say 4 individuals to build a small log cabin, and it's a sweet one. It's one that's really decked out with everything: a nice foundation, stone chimneys, a custom made cabinetry in it, and everything else. It can take me anywhere between 6 months to a year, depending upon the size of the cabin and the features that are in there. But the process of putting up the logs, of notching them and getting them in place, we have done it in as little as a week's time. Typically it's more like 2 weeks' time, and the log work is done. So if you're building your own home solo, that very likely there might be you're not going to do every detail of it from beginning to end. I think in my best build ever, I think probably I did 90 to 95% of the home myself. But still, you would bring in some help somewhere along the line. And so perhaps if what you're talking about building is a log cabin, perhaps you can get the logs there, you can get them notched, you can get the first few courses up by yourself through coercing them, and then you could bring in some friends or something another to help you get the rest of the logs up, and then you're done with that really excruciatingly heavy work, and can move on to the other aspects of building your own home. Now you go on to say, what building methods, if any, require the least amount of raw strength and are most suitable to attempting solo? Well, as you know, if you've been following along, there are 5 different kinds of construction that I really like. There's probably 100 different kinds out there, and in fact it can be overwhelming, and many of us will focus just on the one and get lost on it. I have found that it's best to narrow it down to a few and use those few in the construction of our home. I'm a big fan of ICFs, insulated concrete forms. I'm a fan of new modern construction, if you don't mess it up with a lot of what's associated with today's technology of standard stick-built framing, but also timber framing, log, and stone. Those are my 3 favorites. And if you're talking about building log by yourself, yes indeed, and you can't get any help at all, you can't get any mechanization to help you, that is a tough one to build yourself. Certainly the pioneers somehow managed to do that, but I have a feeling they had a lot of friends and family, and also some beast of burden to help pull those logs up into place. So if you are really concerned about physical strength, perhaps consider something other than a log cabin, and particularly stick-built construction. You can make a really attractive home using standard stick-built construction of today, and finish it nice with siding and a metal roof and a stone foundation and a stone chimney. It would be easier to build on your own. So to sum up, what I'd like to express to you is that obviously you have a desire, an urge to build your own home, and I can say that attitude is 99% of what you need in order to build a home. Skills are nice, talents is nice, experience is nice, physical strength is nice to have. They all will contribute to give you a wonderful home. But whenever it's come to me taking on an apprentice to work with me, attitude is the number one thing I've always looked for. And if you have the desire, if you have enough of an attitude that you would send me a question like this, clearly you need to build your own house. And I have heard from many individuals my age, old antique people, that will confess to me that in their younger days they had a desire to build a handmade house of their own, and they never did it, and they regret it to this day, to at least never having tried. And I can say that building your own home is much easier than living with the regret of never having tried. Well, anyway, thank you very much for the question. I really appreciate it. This is Noah Bradley. If you're not a member of the Handmade House Guild, by all means, give us a shot, give us a try. I would like to thank 5 new members of the Handmade House Guild, and they are Doug McGinn, Douglas Spencer, Jason Snow, David Hanson, David Carter, and heck, one more, Eric Cashin. You guys take care. Thank you so much for your support in the Handmade House Guild, for all your comments, and especially with the ongoing Stonemason Academy. We're really coming along in that series, and it's really working out well. So anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you next week here on Handmade House TV. This is Noah Bradley. See you then.